Hi, Dad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Good. It feels so weird to be on Instagram and without seeing each other since we're in the same city, but we cannot really come and visit.
Correct. Yeah, I know it's weird. It's weird, and I even lost count in days now. Oh, I'm here to answer all your questions.
Yes. When you first time got inside the fashion industry, what were your fears and how did you tackle them?
Which agencies was the best in Moscow, and there was not many options, of course. So we picked one which had the best reviews, and we heard in many article about them, and we sent out the pictures, which was just made on our camera at home, like nothing special. And I got the answer from that agency the next day that I can come to Moscow and meet with them. Obviously, Khabarovsk in Moscow is a long way to go, a long flight.
Yeah,
So
for those who don't know how huge Russia is, that's like to fly from Khabarovsk to Moscow is like what, 8 hours, something like that.
yeah, 9 hours.
9 hours. Oh my
Yeah.
God. It's like
So it's like
huge.
it's like going to another country, basically.
Yeah.
So obviously it took me a long time to convince my parents that I should go. So I went by myself to Moscow when I was like 14. And I took that risk, and I don't ask me how parents let me go at that
Yeah, I
age
was gonna
alone.
say that. Like, what did your parents think about you starting that career
I,
so
I,
young?
I, I really don't know. I guess, I guess they trusted me. I guess I was mature enough, but thank God everything went well. I mean, of course, they did the research also, and they took the agent number, and we had a Skype before, and blah, 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 and the address where I'm going to stay and everything. So I came there and to meet my agency, and I made an interview with them, and they said, okay, we like you, you're a very pretty girl, but unfortunately you're not tall enough, so we just want to be very clear so your expectations are right on your side, and we're just going to tell you that it's possible for you to work as a model, but the career will be only in Asia. So, at that time I was like, you know what, like, I don't know any other agency that I can go to. So I took this opportunity and I said, okay, you know what, I'll start with that and see how it goes. Of course, in my mind, it was not like, I was like, okay, I'm not a commercial girl. I don't want to be just in Asia, but I'm not going to say that. So I was playing kind of smart. I was like, yeah, okay, no worries. So I was going to Asia. My first trip was to Japan when I was 14. And I went there by myself. Japan is a super safe country, so my parents were not too worried, and plus Japan was very close to Khabarovsk. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So my first few trips was going there for 3 months for a contract, and in Asia you can earn pretty good money for being a young beginner model, so I was very happy with that.
I feel like at that time, pretty much all the girls started from Tokyo. That was the most popular starting point for modeling career.
Totally. So I heard like a lot of big models started there, so I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going there. I'll get some experience on how to be a model, how to go to casting. I wasn't speaking English at all. I wasn't able to speak English at all. So it's also like Japanese people are very warm and very helpful, if you're new. And like, I remember me going out for castings, not knowing anything. Like, they would write you a map exactly where to turn, which corner, with the picture, with signs. So they were very nice and very helpful there. So I think I gained a lot of experience in Asia. So I think for all starting models, if you have that opportunity to go to Asia, like, go for it. There's nothing wrong with starting your career there. And after, I was going to Asia, I was going to Japan, I started to go to China, which was a little bit different experience for me. Yes. I mean, I love, I like China. China is a great country, but it's a little bit different mentality, and it was a little bit different type of jobs. It was like a long days, a lot of shots. So it was more like really, really pushing you to the limits. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I think I had enough of Asia. I wanna move on, and I wanna try something, something more. By that time, I already had pretty good relationship with my agency, and I was making money for them too. So I told them, like, I know you told me that I don't have a chance, but why don't you give me a chance? And they said, okay, come to Moscow. We're gonna do a more fashion test shoot for you. And I came to Moscow, and they did this beautiful pictures for me. And parallel to that time, there was an agency that was scouting girls. I was New York models. So, and I was staying in a model apartment with, where it was other girls coming as well. And there was all these girls that were older than me, taller than me, gorgeous girls. So they were all requested for this casting, and I was not. And at that time, my agent said, okay, you know what, since there is an agency and you are not requested, but since you're here, why don't you come and just see how maybe international casting is going, So I remember it was like probably 4 or 5 girls plus me. We went to the lobby of some hotel in Moscow, and there was these people from New York, and they were taking Polaroids of us, of them, not me. I was not invited. I was just there by chance. And I was just sitting there by myself on a couch, like kind of close to them, but not too close. And this woman from the agency, she was like, oh, who is this girl? And my agent was like, oh, it's a new girl from our agency. In our agency, she just came to see how the casting is going. And she said, okay, why don't we take a Polaroids of her too? So I took a Polaroids. At that time, I did not thought that I've been chosen, because they didn't give me any sign that they liked me or anything. Like I did not hope even for the fact that I will be picked. And 2 weeks later, I left. I left to my city. I was in my city, and I got a call from my mother agent, and she told me, like, you won't believe what happened. And I said, what? She's like, well, nobody been chosen in that casting but you. So that's how it happened, and that's
Wow.
how I believe in life. You have to try your best, but a lot of things in life is definitely luck.
Yeah, it
and
is, but
being in the right time, the right place.
it is, and it is not, because by your story in particular, we can learn that you have to work for your success.
That's what I said. You have
right?
to work hard and do your best. But I think also, you have to be in the right time, in the right place. And
yeah, that's for
maybe
sure.
sometimes for girls, they really work hard and they feel like they're not there. But maybe you just have to wait for your time to come. If the first day when they told me that I don't have a chance to be in Europe or Asia, and I would just give up at that day, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today.
So you were chosen. How did you feel about it?
I mean, I was shocked, and I was extremely excited about it. I think my parents were more excited about the whole thing, because for them, I grew up, in Russia, in the small town, in a very good family, very good loving family. And I don't know why they've always been kind of obsessed with the idea of living in America. I don't know if they watch
because
too
it's
many
American dream. It's
I know. So exactly.
Want.
So my parents been always living with this American dream, and I think my wish living here in America is coming from that. And I think that when they heard oh, New York, wow, yes, let's see it going.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, and I had to wait, I think, another year, because at that time I was 15 maybe, and you could go to alone to Europe or to America when you're 16.
Yes. That's true.
So I came to New York, and that's how my real modeling career started, where I really kind of put my how to say, I kind of started to develop that idea of that I can work hard and build up the career, not just going from job to job.
Yeah. And when did you go for Victoria's Secret casting? Because I see lots of questions about VS. How was it? Tell us about that experience.
It took me a long time to get to them. It took 1 year for me to kind of put myself out there in front of them in the casting. And first I started with Pink line, which is more a younger line. I think I was 18 at that time, or 17, something like this. And I started to shoot a lot for their catalogs. So maybe I shot for them for like 2 years. And, I was not dreaming to even make a show. Like I was just happy to do their catalogs, And then I think over time, I start to get more and more excited, and I felt more and more into it. And, obviously when the brand likes you and invites you back again and again, you kind of starting to feel like you're a part of it. And as soon as I started to work with Pink, obviously my rate went up. I got a lot of other clients that wanted me. So I would say that Victoria's Secret is this brand that opened so many doors for me, and I'm so thankful for that opportunity that they gave me in my career.
It was more like a trampoline in your career to elevate
Totally. Yes. I just think that, I would never make a career out of fashion show. Like I know you've done thousands of fashion shows, which is like you're tall, you're gorgeous, you have this fashion look, which is like mixed with the baby and feminine look, which is like you got it all. Me, I'm more of a commercial girl, I'm more of a beauty girl. So I would never make a career out of fashion shows. It would not be my road, and I think that's a mistake I was doing, because in the beginning of my career, I was really focused on going into fashion, and going for shows, and I was killing myself to be there, and I think over time I kind of learned that there is other ways to get where I want to be. So I started to work with Pink a lot, and then over time they said, okay, why don't we try you for a main line? And after a few years, I started to shoot with a main line, and I worked with them for like 3 years, just shooting catalogs almost every other day. And this brand really became like my family. All people who was working there with me, stylists and hairdressers and casting directors, really, really great people, and were very supportive. And I loved working there. And after 2 years, there was a fashion show. The idea of fashion show, I was like moving with my dreams. I was moving further and further and further. Like first was Pink. Then I was like, yes, okay, I want to be in the main line. Yes. I was like, I want to be in the main line. And then I made it to a main line. I was like, oh, okay. I'm doing well here. Like, I was like, okay, why don't I try the show? And that was something that's the next step I had to take. And obviously for a show, they still want height, even in Victoria's Secret, because, it's a lot to do with, with how they shoot and on the camera.
Like it's on the camera, exactly.
Exactly. So it's a funny story, because when I went to Victoria's Secret fashion show first time, they told me no. And the reason they told me no was I was not in a shape that they wanted me to be for the show, because for the catalogs and for the show, they required a different body shape.
Well, for people to understand, not being in the shape they wanted, like what kind of shape they want. Like we're not talking about like healthy, glowing, beautiful, even like sporty look, right? Especially at that time when you were trying for the casting.
Unfortunately, I think at that time it was very competitive, and I think at the time when I was doing the show, it was like really the peak, and it was like everyone wanted to be there. So I think they were really picking like the girls who was like ripped and like something that I had to work hard for. And I don't want to say, I honestly don't want to accuse this brand of like pushing me to be skinny. By the end of the day, I have a choice what I can do. I can just say no and leave. But is it right, to create that environment for models? No, I don't think so. But at that time, when I really wanted to, when I really worked so hard for so many years to be what I want to be, of course, I was blinded by that idea. Absolutely. And by that dream, to be there. So of course I went for it, and prior that casting, and preparing myself for this, you know, I've been already through so many diets and so many things, which I'm going to tell you later about, I'm sure. That, you know, they told me I was not in shape, which, as you said, maybe many people would look at my shape and would say how someone can say that she's not in shape. But at that time, that's what they told me. And of course, it made me very angry and very motivated to get myself in shape for the next year. So
did that started your struggles with relationship with food, or it was already before Victoria's Secret?
I had it way before. I had it way before that, and I had anorexia before that, maybe, I don't know, 4 years before that, when I was really like on the beginning of my career. I think I got really into, you know, into that idea that the skinny is good. You know, I had this idea, you know, and I think it was like an internet at that time, like Kate Moss kind of time, where it's like they were promoting this thing that was not exactly the healthy thing to read or watch.
Absolutely.
It was like skinnier the better, you know, and the skinnier is more beautiful, which is not the case. I think like to be extremely skinny is like to be it's the same as obesity, you know, it's something that is extreme. So anything extreme is not
extremes.
I think I just lost. I just got so much into the process of dieting and working out, and I saw that I just felt accomplished. Not accomplished. I just felt like if I'm dieting hard and if I work out 3 times a day, I felt like I'm working hard for where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like that feeling.
Yeah,
that
like you gave yourself your best. You gave it
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And the days where I would be like, you know, where I would get loose and would eat as a normal person, I would like punish myself and hate myself and would starve myself for 5 days, you know, for the
Like
fact
that's a horrible feeling, because I've been there too, and
yeah,
like
and like the lowest I weighed was like 40 kilos or something like this, which was like crazy. Yeah. And I think after that, you know, I remember the time where I was like, okay, it's enough. It was the time when I came back home from like a modeling trip and I lost even more weight. And obviously my mom was shocked. She was like, what is happening? And I'm pretty stubborn personality. So like if my mom would tell me like, oh, like you should do this, like I would do opposite of what she says. So I think she was kind of very careful of what she would tell me at that moment. And I don't think she knew what to do, you know?
yeah.
And I remember I went to this like medical exam for my driving license at that time. And I was extremely skinny, and they were checking, you know, like the heart rate. I don't know how it's heart rate when they are analyzing your heart, basically. And she told me like, oh, your heart is basically kind of slower than it should be. And I said, oh, like why? And she said, well, maybe because you're underweight. And I said, like, why? How is it related? And she said, well, probably you don't eat enough calories, so all your organs went into more like a slower mode to preserve the energy, you know, to preserve the calories, because I was not eating enough calories. And I think that's the time when I really got scared. I was like, wow, you know, I'm such a young girl. And like at that time, obviously all my digestive system was very slow, you know, because of that. I did not have period for a very long time, you know, which is not normal either. So, you know, that's the time I think when I was like, okay, like, wow, I'm so scared, like things are not working properly anymore. And I start to kind of, okay, I'm gonna try to get better. But I did not really have a plan how to get better, you know. I just went and I start to eat, you know. But obviously, I'm sure, you know, after a very strict diet, if you start to eat, you go off the rails, you start to eat everything you see. So so I start to eat everything I see, and I gain so much weight so quickly, like to the point that people on the street, you know, who haven't seen me like a month, they were like shocked, because from a very skinny girl, I start to be like a bloated balloon, because also like the water retention starts to, you know, the body starts to keep water there is a water retention because of the dieting and everything. So I became a little bit unrecognizable for a short period of time, and I kind of stopped modeling for some time, maybe for 6 months, because of that, because I was just so ashamed and was so not confident in my body, and I didn't want to come out of a room like I looked horrible, So after almost a year, I think my body kind of stabilized by itself, luckily, because I was a very young girl, so I guess the body bounced back very quickly. So I kind of stabilized it a little more, and I came back to like a shape where I'm not too skinny, not too ridiculous. And I start to go back to modeling and modeling again. But coming back to your question, like, after that episode, first episode, it was not the end. Like I was always going through this process, through this stages of I don't know, having some goal in career and starting myself again. Like it was always connected, For me to be somewhere in my career, I felt like I had to lose weight always.
Yeah,
And
it's
and
hard
I
to
think
find the balance.
Totally. And I think it was created also by the fact that a lot of people in the industry would say like, oh, like, agent, maybe sometimes they just drop this comment without even thinking twice. Like, oh, maybe it's good if you lose a little bit of weight, and then you go home and you're like,
how many times we've heard that, right? Like it's never, oh no, it's not about you, like you're
yeah,
gorgeous, but the clients, they require this certain look. And it's
yeah.
like they make it sound like it's never about you, like of course, and I know they sincerely don't want to make you to make you feel bad, but you always take it personally.
Yeah, because for them is not for them they're not looking at this as we are. We're so
Yeah.
focused on how we look that like even a slight little wrong comment can make you completely go banana. Like
Yeah, like if you're so sensitive.
so sensitive on everything related with beauty or body image. Is I think everyone who's been a model in their life, I think this is something that you have to carry throughout all your life, because I feel like if you grew up in that environment of being told all the time like, oh, this or that, everything around beauty and how you look, I think you just grew up paying so much attention to it.
Yeah, and I remember when you went for VS casting after, like, the next year when you got the show, and you were looking so much healthier and you were beautiful as always. But I remember, like, you didn't get the show because they told you that you don't look the same as last year. But I felt like you looked so much better the other year. And how did you feel about that? Was it hard to take, or you felt more balanced at that time? Because I remember you were already like in a relationship, and maybe that helped you to take it easier.
Yeah, it was not an easy time in my career, when you're working so hard for something. And the year when I got the show, I was obviously so happy and I worked so hard for it. And you see so many other benefits doing the show, like as I told you, like I got so many other clients, so many other jobs. So obviously this is something I worked for so many years. I want to keep it up. So the next year when I didn't get the show because I was not in the same shape as the year before, which was true. I was bigger, but simply because I think I was so skinny the year before that I had so many hormonal problems that I you can ask like my husband, who was at that time my boyfriend. I was working out like crazy and we're dieting like crazy, but I could just not achieve the same result. And I think it was hard for me still. Even so, as you said, like I was in a different place in my life. I met my husband, who was a boyfriend at that time, and he helped me a lot, I think, to go through that time, to support me. I was not alone anymore living in New York. So but I will lie if I say that it didn't hurt me. Of course it did, and that was the end of it with this brand for me because of that.
But then you started working with Sports Illustrated, who have completely different view on body image, right? Because I see they promote different shapes, different age, like they're kind of more acceptable of different beauty types. How was that experience?
Um, I think Sport Illustrated is like a guardian angel in my career. You know, they came at the
Oh,
time really when I really needed the support the most. You know, because honestly, I started to work with the brand probably when I was not in shape at all. You know, because of the whole after I lost the second show and I was not, you know, I was kind of upset and I started to gain more and more weight because of this, you know, because I still was putting so much work in it and it didn't pay off. Of course, like psychologically, it was also very hard for me, you know. So I kind of a little bit give up, you know, for like a short moment of time. And I was just saying, okay, you know what? I'll just be doing commercial stuff, you know, if I will do catalogs, like whatever, you know. And I think at that time I did, you know, my agency said, okay, why don't you go to this casting for Sport Illustrated? They really want to see you. So I went to see them and I was not going to see them in the most confident mindset, you know. I was going there just because they called me, you know.
yeah.
It was not my goal at that time, not because I didn't want it, just because I was just not in the right mindset. And you know, I came there and obviously I knew how the Sport Illustrated was, and you know, I wanted to get it really hard, but I did not expect it, and I got the casting and I started to work for them at the time where I didn't expect it, and they were such a supportive people. And I think this is the first brand that I worked with that really were interested in me, not was not interested what I was wearing, you know, or you know, when the like to every job you come, by the end of the day they ask you to be thin or this or that because they want the clothes to look good, you know.
Yeah.
They don't really care, you know. Of course they want you to look good, but the main thing for them is to sell the
To sell
product.
the product, exactly.
Yeah, so I feel like the Sport Illustrated was the first brand that was really interested about me and what I had to say, and of course I opened up to them about my story, you know. And I think I became working with this brand hoping that I can give example to young girls, you know, not to ever sacrifice their health on the career goals, you know.
This is amazing, and I want to take a moment and to thank Sports Illustrated for doing that, because we all need that that place, that grounding place where we can all feel confident and beautiful, no matter what point of life we're going through. Like giving, you know, as women, we always feel criticized for our body, and especially like after giving birth, becoming mother, like with all this life changes, sometimes you just need to hear that you are beautiful and we accept you for who you are.
Yeah, no, totally. I could not agree more. And they were really the pioneers, you know, in that movement, you know, of accepting different body shapes in an industry. And I feel like right now it's becoming more and more of a normality for other brands to do a variety of shapes, you know, which is I think is amazing, you know, that a lot of
Yeah.
women can relate to these girls on the covers, on the, you know, on the windows of stores, you know. And I think it just sets a different examples for women's, and it gives a different body image to everyone around us, you know, even to men's, you know, because I feel like even men's expectations, when there's always, you know,
This
the same
ideal,
type,
yeah.
exactly, it becomes, you know, even in the men's head also the ideal type, you know. But I feel like if there is a diversity, I think it's healthy for everyone.
Yeah, so much healthier. And we see even the change in Victoria's Secret now, they're trying to accept more body shapes. And I don't know if it's working for them though. Like I feel like they kind of got too late on that. But you know, it's a positive change which we all appreciate, I think. And I hope that fashion will keep moving in that direction.
Yeah, for sure.
But how do you personally feel about this body positive movement? Like, what is for yourself, what is the most comfortable shape you've been in? Like, when did you feel your best?
Now?
Right now. That's such a
Yes.
good answer. Like, I'm so happy to hear that.
I think now, and I think it's a lot also to come with my how to say, psychological and my calmness inside, that I have now, because I think my main focus is not anymore about to impress someone in modeling career. I have so much more right now. I have a beautiful family that I'm grateful for every day, and I want to be the best mom I can, and I want to be the best wife I can. And it's so much more important than anything else, I think. So I think that core gives me so much strength and power to move forward in my career even, and I feel like I feel so much more confident and balanced at the moment. I'm just being myself now. I'm not trying to be anyone else anymore.
I totally feel you. Like, I feel the same way. Like, I feel like my
I remember we
relationship.
discussed with you even, and I
Yeah.
remember even when I got pregnant, you told me when you're going to give birth, you will see you will be in a better shape and you will feel so much better than you felt before.
And I was right, you see, like
Yeah,
I
you were
remember you
totally
were
right.
worried, like because we always had these jumps in weight when we were modeling full time because we were so unhealthy in our mind. And I told you because I experienced that myself. That once I started the relationship and became a mother, like I was so much more stabilized in my head. And after giving birth, I was like even in a better shape because I didn't have to be in any shape. Like
Yeah,
I,
nobody
I
expect
I just
anything
needed to
from
be
you.
myself, needed
Yeah,
to do what I wanted, and I was so happy about it. And it was
yeah,
so much easier.
totally. I could not agree more. And I think like I just want to be clear, like for many people, like I think for me right now, like being in a good shape, it means that like being consistent with my routine, like I think it's important just to like work out because it's good for your health, because not because you want to achieve certain shape, anymore. I think it's just doing what's healthy for you is really what is a priority right now for me.
What is your daily routine, more or less, right now?
I'm trying to stay consistent, with my workouts, and by consistent I mean not like killing myself every day. Like I'm happy to do my workouts maybe 3 times a week, as long as this 3 times a week always happening. If I felt like some weeks doing more or less, I'm totally fine with this. But I'm trying to stick to 3 times a week, and I'm doing. I'm switching up things. I love to do Pilates. I love to do yoga. I found that if you do workouts that you really enjoy doing, this is the way to really keep it, consistent. Otherwise, if you're doing what you don't like to do, you'll never keep doing it.
Absolutely. But do you feel like you're missing the old crazy modeling days, or you feel happier now?
Um, I mean, listen, I don't feel like my modeling days are over. It's just a
I
different
mean,
kind
like
of.
full-time modeling, I would say.
Yeah, obviously, I will never be anymore full time in New York, leaving my family behind and going around casting. So I I don't miss it anymore. I feel like it's a different stage of my life right now, and I accept this stage, and I love being a mom, and I love being a wife. And I feel like I'm in a learning process still, how to balance these things of work and mom and wife. Like it's hard.
Yeah, life is a journey, and we're constantly learning something new on this
Yeah,
journey.
totally. Yeah, it is.
And I have a few more questions from my and I think your followers, and I want to continue that. One of the questions was, what advice would you give to your younger self when you started modeling? That was from my fans.
To sacrifice my health, in order to achieve something, because I don't think it's really worth it. Um, and as I said, like, right now we came to the point that being yourself and being the best version of yourself and being confident in your own skin, this is what really matters, you know, and that's where you actually can be your best.
Yeah, I feel like now we as models can express more personality, and it's valuable these days.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, next question. How did you start your business from the idea to the delivered product to new clients? So you can tell us about your business.
So I started, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people maybe don't know, so I just want to say which kind of product it is. So I started the idea of vegan ice cream. That's which brand. My brand called Vitali, and it's a vegan ice cream, which is low in sugars and it has very good ingredients. So the idea of creating this product obviously comes from, you know, many years of dieting and hoping that there will be a product out there that will be good for your health and still will still help you to stay in shape, and you know that you can enjoy every day without, you know, without worrying
Without
and
guilt tripping.
uh,
Without guilt tripping yourself.
exactly. So I started to make ice cream at home for some time, and it was just a fun thing to do. And I was doing it with my friend Ali, who is my partner now. And you know, she's also shared the same ideas of healthy eating, and you know, that's how our idea of just doing ice cream at home grew into a business. But obviously, you know, we thought on the beginning like, oh, we like doing ice cream. Okay, let's make it a brand. You know, of course, it was a long journey for us. For about a year, we've been developing the recipe, and we hired the food scientist, you know, who could properly formulate for us the recipe, because to going from kitchen scale into commercial scale is like two different things. So it took us a long time to develop the product, and you know, and finally we started to sell about less than a year ago. We're selling only locally at the moment in the local cafes, because the frozen distribution chain is just so hard, and you know, we still have a long way to go to be where we want to be. You know, but it's going great, and we're so happy for all our local customers in Miami who is supporting our brand and who like our product. And it's so yes, and it's so
good.
And I can tell you, like, it's so heartwarming to hear these feedbacks of people who tell good things and how much they enjoy our product, because we worked so hard on it. And you know, maybe we do not make a lot of money on it, but I can tell you that every dollar that I make on this project, it really, like, I celebrate it like my first modeling job, you know, because it's something that is so new to me, and it's a learning process, and I really putting a lot of work and a lot of heart in this project, and I really believe in it. And you know, hopefully we will see Vitali soon in a lot of grocery stores.
I'm sure we will. The product is amazing. I've tried it. I'm saying it not because you're my friend. Like, I'm giving an honest feedback, and it's amazing. And you know, like, I love healthy products. I eat healthy always, and for me, it's very important for the product to be healthy and have good ingredients. And your product has it all, and it's tasty. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy to make healthy and tasty product and deliver it to the client.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. When it's a new business, is a learning process, and nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy.
Yeah. Well, but after quarantine, you need to try my vegan cakes. I took a vegan.
Oh my God. I've been like so impressed with your cooking. I was like, holy shit, excuse my language, but like, this girl is doing it all. Like, she's cooking, she's taking care of her child, she's with her husband, she looks amazing. Like, I look at Vita's stories every morning, and she's like all glowing with a little bit of makeup. Like,
thank you.
I'll tell you honestly, I don't look like that every day. Like,
I don't look like this every day either, darling. I'm just putting my best out there.
No, but I'm like, I get inspired by your feed all the time, and I'm like, no, come on, like, pull yourself together. You're like, I don't want to dress up. I don't want to look good. You know, some of those
Yeah,
days.
lazy
You just feel
days.
like
We all
doing it.
have them. We all have them. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
But
uh,
your cakes, wow, like
I
really
I have
good
to
job.
say I'm just so surprised because I thought I thought it will take me a little bit of time to being able to do the perfect way I want it, because I like to do things perfectly. And I have to say I'm so impressed by myself because I really have a talent of doing this raw vegan cakes.
I'm so
I yes
proud of you.
Yesterday I did 4 cakes, okay? Four,
What?
because I just love
You're
doing
like
it
a
so much.
factory.
My husband came, he was like, you've been in the kitchen for like 3 hours, like maybe you can spend some time with me now.
He must be happy. He's
Oh yeah, he loves.
Italian.
I'm like, listen,
Italians
you will
love good
not
food.
regret in the evening when you're eating that cake.
Yeah, exactly. Italians appreciate food more than anyone else.
Yes, he loves it. He loves it. He said
I
it was
see
it was
Martha
fun.
saying, Vita's cake, please.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Marta, I'm bringing you that cake soon, okay? A lot
You
of
should open
neighbors,
a
a
new
lot of neighbors
business.
know about my cakes, by the way, and they're like, oh, maybe you can drop me off at my door. I did a gender reveal cake. You saw?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
So my friend have a baby girl. It was so special.
Oh,
It was
we
so
should share.
special.
You should share all those recipes on your
I will.
Instagram.
I
Yeah,
will.
you should
I
share
promise.
and
I actually wanted to do a live cooking session, maybe with my teacher who teach me how to do all these cakes, and maybe we could create some healthy, easy desserts with my
you must. Like,
followers.
I would definitely join and try it myself because
Perfect. I'm
I
doing it.
suck at cooking. I'll be honest. I suck at it, and I need to improve.
I'm sure you're good. You just didn't try yet your talent. I didn't know either.
Maybe,
See, I
maybe.
didn't know either, but I got so much into it.
Yeah, well, we'll try. I'll join your classes for sure.
Perfect.
Okay, moving on to the next question. I'd like to start modeling career, but I don't know where to start. Could you help?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear because I think this one.
I'd like to start modeling, but I don't know where to start. Could you help?
Okay. I think depending on which country you're from, like let's say if I would live in New York, obviously I would just pick up the phone and on call and maybe try to walk into the agency. But if you are from small town, other country that is not that has not have the developed modeling world, then just do your research on the internet, and there's many informations nowadays on the internet that you can find on Instagram even, which agencies are good. And all agencies, if you go to their website, they have a section of becoming a model, where you can just fill out the information about you and the pictures, and that's it. You press send and hope for the best.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays it's so much easier to try modeling
So
just
much
because
easier.
of social media and the internet. Like, you can always write a message, send your photos, as Visa said, and like you're always welcome to try it. Why not?
Totally. I agree.
I hope that answers your question. And the last one I have, what do you eat to be so beautiful, Vita?
What do I eat to be so beautiful?
Yes, like what is your secret superfood, let's say?
What is my secret super? I mean, I don't know. I can just tell that I eat avocado every day. Every single day, just because it's so easy to cook and I don't have more time to cook anything else. So I just put the avocado on top of the bread, sprinkle it with olive oil and salt, and it's ready to go, So I would say avocado. I drink green juice every day. I mean, like a standard things, really nothing special.
Yeah, avocado is always good.
I guess that's
Good
why the skin is glowing. It has a lot of good fats.
True.
Yes.
Well, I guess this is all I have for today. I don't know if you guys have any other specific
I did not even pay
questions.
attention to comments, to be honest. Like, I mean,
I did, but I feel like we answered most of